Alright, y'all. So, she gave me a chance. And a chance that it would lead me on the path that it did. Me being bitter early on in my marriage because I was in college. You know, I told y'all, fought so hard to be in college. And then to, you know, that not to happen, you know, after my sophomore year. Because, you know, I had a baby, I got married, and I will be the first one to say I am living proof that even though things don't go as you plan them to go in your life, you know what? Sometimes God's plan is better than the plan that you had. Because, granted, I wanted to go to school and I wanted to be a lawyer. Go figure, okay? Wanted to be a lawyer, and thankful that I did not spend all this money to go to law school when I really didn't need it. And this is the sad thing, you know, and when you're growing up, you really don't know what you want to do with your life. You really don't. You could think you know, and then you find out that your calling was for something else. I have always been a fashion-forward girl, so, you know, I always knew that that was a part of who I was anyway. And like I said, I wasn't going to change that for nobody. Including my husband, okay? He had made a comment to me early on in our marriage that, you know, he was like, he thought I was beautiful just the way I was, and that I did not need to wear makeup or anything like that. And I told him, check this out, buddy. You met me wearing it, and guess what? I'm gonna wear it to the day I die. And I'll be on my face then too, okay? I was like, don't do that, and don't try to change me, because when you got with me, this was who I am, and this is who I'm gonna always be. So learn to either love it or hate it. Either way, I'm gonna still be Stephanie, okay? So with that being said, he learned to love it. Clearly, we still together 21 years later. So that was like the best thing I ever did, because who knew I would have had a 20-year stretch as a retail manager? Nobody. Nobody would have ever known that. Nobody would have possibly even ever believed it, because the way it happened, it is a fairy tale. And I have some cousins of mine, some relatives and stuff. They say that I have like this fairy tale life, meaning that things just always seem to work out for me no matter what. I don't look at it like that, because you know what? You don't know my struggle. You don't know what I've had to go through to get the life that you see. You don't know. So don't be quick to judge based off of what you see. So my life has been good. I will definitely agree with that. My life has been good, and if God granted me a wish right now and said, and just came out the heavens and spoke to me and said, Stephanie, if there was anything that you wanted to change, what would you change? The answer would honestly be nothing. He knows best. He always has, always will. So I traveled like a ton with this company. They was the first people who I got to travel abroad other than Hawaii, me moving to Hawaii. I've been to Ireland with this company, paid expenses. The year that we was having some, I think some issues, it was the new millennium. That's when it was, the year 2000. Yeah. You know, they kept talking about the world was going to end and crash and burn and all that good stuff. Well, Stephanie did not want to be in the Middle East when all this was going to be going home. I wanted to be home with my family and my loved ones. And that year, I declined to go on that trip. Yeah, it would have been an awesome experience. But somebody brought me back some mud from the Dead Sea. All that good stuff. So it was almost like I was there. So y'all, with that being said, have just been very fortunate to, I've never had to take away Stephanie's personality. I may have had to suppress it, but never take it away. Never feeling like I couldn't be myself. In fact, if that was the case, work well dealing with that. So I have been in the retail fashion industry ever since. I started with the hair company, Regis, the hair salons, and then I was with them for about 6-7 years, and then when I got pregnant with Jada, and then after her delivery and stuff, and I didn't want to be traveling with my baby, being left with someone and stuff like that, that's when I made a career choice to change it, because I started as a store manager with them, and then I got promoted a 1.5 years later to a district manager. Go figure. That's how I got to travel all over the place, okay? And it was a great experience. Then after them, I went and I worked for Express. I wasn't with them for very long, just due to the fact that the store that I managed happened to close. It went out of business. So instead of me wanting to transfer to another store waiting for a location to open, Stephanie just decided to leave Express altogether, and that's when I went and worked for Charlotte Russe. I was at Charlotte Russe for about 5.5 years, and I hit a glass ceiling with them. And then I worked at New York and Company for a little bit, and then one day, just out of the blue, Monster Management or something like that, a recruiting agency, they had called me and they had asked me, like, was I interested in being a retail manager for Cracker Barrel? And I was like, Cracker Barrel? Like, I ain't never filled out no application for Cracker Barrel. And the one question that they asked that actually interested me, they said if there was one thing that I wanted most from my current job that I wasn't getting, what would it be? And that would have to be a quality of life. I worked all the time. Worked like a slave, and I'm talking about putting in 45-50 hours a week, and I did that consistently, raising daughters and stuff and being married. It became very, very important to me when my husband got deployed. He got deployed, life changed, and it changed in a way where I just had to make some decisions for the family. And since I wanted to be more involved with my girls with school, and you know, they only had one parent home and stuff like that, yeah, I had to make a decision, and I made a decision really quick. And Stephanie put the family first. So Cracker Barrel for about almost 7 years when we moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Valdosta, Georgia. And that's when I was blessed with the opportunity to start a business of my own. God gave me 6 months off to clear my head, get my thoughts together. And for me to, when I say get my thoughts together, here it was at the time I had 18 years of experience in working in different aspects of retail. And instead of having student loans to pay back and all of that, God blessed me with the ability to learn everything I needed to learn to one day be a successful entrepreneur and take everything that I've learned from them companies and compile it in one. And yes, I should have a degree on my wall. I really should. So with that being said, I could tell y'all about Stephanie's career path if that's something that y'all want to know about, like interviewing questions or whatever the case may be, because I have hired and fired a whole lot of people in my day, okay, and have not always been like the fan favorite, just because I believe in rules and I believe in black and white and vaguely do you see gray. if that's a video story time with Steph that y'all like to hear, I could definitely tell you a whole lot of stories about that. But I'm getting ready to wrap this up, and as you can see, I have literally, y'all done got ready with me while I chit-chatted. Alright, I'm gonna fine tune this because I'm gonna call my man and find out if we're going to date night tonight or if I'm gonna hang out with Jazz tonight. So with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this chit chat with Stephanie. See you guys in the next video. Bye.